Hello, and welcome to number 2 of the Smackdown review. Smackdown was a fun show. It was at 8 a.m. Eastern. Same thing with Crown Jewel tomorrow and Raw on Monday. So we're getting an early video. It's not posted the next day because it's past midnight. But let's start out with the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes coming out, and the crowd is just wildly singing Cody Rhodes' theme song. They are going crazy for Kingdom. The woes were super loud and everything, and he goes to the ring and he's talking about how he doesn't say anything too important, kind of a basic promo, but he basically says that the future is shared. It's shared with names like Rhea Ripley, gets a huge pop from the Australian crowd, CM Punk. He says Randy Orton. Like, he says that the future is all of these guys. It's not whatever Seth thinks it is. And then there are very loud Seth is a wanker chants. And Cody Rhodes then asks Michael Cole to say it, but he doesn't. Michael Cole hands the microphone to Wade Barrett, and Wade Barrett says, "Cody, they're saying Seth is a wanker," and it was just so funny. It was just a fun moment. Cody was having fun out there. Commentators were having fun. But then we go back to the ring with Cody, and he's holding up that 0 to signify how many times Seth Rollins has beaten him. And Cody says that he is the wrestler, and he says that he is the wrestler that Seth can't beat. And he goes and then walks out of the ring, holds up the belt. It was a great opening segment. I loved it. But let's go backstage. Chelsea Green is at first trying to recruit Stephanie Vaquer. She needs a new slagent. And she's talking about, hey, once you're done with like Tiffany, and have you seen Tiffany's outfit? It's like, ugh. And then Tiffany comes up behind her, and Chelsea Green walks away because she doesn't want the smoke. Vaquer says that she's gonna have Tiffany's back tonight, and she knows that Tiffany will have her back tonight. And Tiffany says, of course, yeah. But then as soon as Vaquer walks away, Tiffany kind of gives her like a little look like, am I gonna have your back? It was fun. It was a nice little tension segment before their tag match. Backstage again with Cody Rhodes. He runs into Jacob Fatu, and Jacob Fatu calls his shot. He says, hey, after you're done with Seth, I'm next. But then Drew McIntyre blindsides Jacob Fatu, and he gets all beat down. So we're kind of rekindling this Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu feud. But let's go to the best part of SmackDown. Sami Zayn Open Challenge. I'm going to say it every week until it isn't true. Sami Zayn is the best part of SmackDown. And who answers the call? Now, see, I was totally expecting Grayson Waller because it's in Australia, but I kind of like this a little bit more. It was the returning Shinsuke Nakamura. And he has his old theme song back. He has his old theme. It was just, that beat drop and everything. No more dark Nakamura. He's back. Kind of still with his heelish character, but he's back as a babyface. Loud Nakamura chants, loud Sami Zayn chants throughout the entire match. This match was so fun. Crowd going crazy. This is the 8th time that they've met in WWE. It was so fun. Nakamura and Sami, they're having fun with the crowd. But then Shinsuke's in the corner. He's going for a Kinshasa, and he gets dragged out of the ring by the returning Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga is back. He's got the Gorillas of Destiny face paint on, and the MFTs lay waste to Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. Whew. Man, the MFT kind of has aura. I'm not gonna lie. They kind of got that aura going on right now with the face paint, the war paint. They feel different. And Solo, he didn't show up right away, but he kind of casually walked in after all the work was done. I'm kind of feeling the MFT, but Then we go backstage once again. Nick Aldis and Drew McIntyre. Nick Aldis is like, "Hey, you got what you wanted. You got Jacob Fatu next week in San Jose." And Drew's like, "Oh, in front of his own people, I get to beat him up. That's cool." But then Jacob Fatu jumps Drew McIntyre. They get separated pretty quickly. I feel like they were kind of on a crunch for time at some points in the show, which in a 2-hour show, you kind of like it happens. But Drew versus Jacob Fatu next week. That's pretty cool. Then we go to the second match of the night, which is Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer and WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton versus Women's United States Champion Julia and Kiana James. This match was it was fun. None of these, they did a really good job of making all four of these women look like they belonged in this match. Even Kiana James. Kiana James was probably in the match for the most amount of time. Julia and Kiana, they double teamed Stephanie Vaquer for a lot of the match, and then it kind of built up to the Tiffany Stratton hot tag, and then we kind of went back to more traditional tag match. If anything, they made Julia look the strongest in this match. And Kiana ends up taking the pin from Tiffany Stratton after her prettiest moonsault ever. And then they go up to the ramp, kind of hold up their belts. We got the Women's Crown Jewel Championship match tomorrow. Should be pretty exciting. I'm actually more excited for this match than I was last week, just after seeing them in the ring. I'm really excited for this match, actually. And then we go backstage once again. It's Sol Ruca and Zarya, and then Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And Charlotte Flair compliments them again, and Zarya steps up and says, "Well, hey, we're not going to wait around for our shot. If you guys keep talking about how good we are, how about we prove that we're better than you guys?" And Charlotte Flair's like, "That's pretty bold, but that's something that I would have done when I was in your position. So you guys got it." So we don't know when the women's tag title match is, but I'm excited for it, and I think it's going to be great whenever it happens. But let's go to a title match now. The Wyatt Six versus the Street Profits. The Street Profits also have their old theme back. They are bringing back a bunch of old themes. I hope Sheamus is next. That was one that I thought about immediately. I'm like, with all these old themes, I go, let's go back. This was a Wyatt Six match. Not much to say about it. Profits looked better than the Wyatts like usual. But it was, Rowan showed up out of nowhere. Nikki Cross took out BFAB, kind of all the stuff. And then the Wyatts pinned Montez Ford to retain the titles. Nothing too crazy. I mean, it was a Wyatt Six match. If you've seen one Wyatt Six match, you've seen all of them that they've had so far. But then the MFTs, they're here. They're staring down the Wyatt Six. So now they've made a case at the U.S. title and the tag titles. They end up retreating, and no brawl start, but the flashing lights during this segment, like the Wyatt lights and everything, was just making this feel so much cooler. And I heard the rumors that they're gonna do a Wyatt Six versus MFT feud, and I rolled my eyes. I was kind of like, are we sure? Because this is back when the Wyatt Six barely could wrestle, and the MFTs were buried. So it was kind of just like, is it gonna work? But I liked this. I'm excited for this feud, actually. I think Solo versus Uncle Howdy has an interesting match. I think the Gorillas of Destiny versus Loomis and Gacy, and then Hikuleo versus Rowan. I mean, could this be a War Games match? Now, that seems kind of crazy, but maybe a match at Survivor Series, maybe traditional Survivor Series style. That'd be pretty cool. But let's go backstage one more time with The Miz. The Miz cut a good promo. He's reminding everybody who he is. He's like, I'm 2-time Grand Slam champion, Miz. I'm main event of WrestleMania, Miz. I am the Kathy Kelly says that he's a spotlight stealer, and Miz grabs the mic quickly and goes, I'm the spotlight. I shine on everything around me. And it was and then he goes, and then if the people don't see that I'm helping them, well, I guess Mello, you missed. And it was a good promo. Miz is everybody knows that Miz is a really good promo. I wish he had more time to cut promos like this. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. But let's go to the thing I enjoyed the most about SmackDown, and it's going to be match of the week. Damian Priest versus Aleister Black, last man standing match. How is this not on Crown Jewel? Man. And then even after that, I mean, it gives it more of a spotlight being on SmackDown. It's not one of 6 matches, it's the main event. So I understand that, but this should have been on Crown Jewel. It just should have been. They brawl up to the stage, and then we get into some fun spots once they get back to the ring. Aleister Black hits a Meteora from the top rope onto Damian Priest onto the steel steps. That was nasty. And then Damian Priest, he was going for his old school with a kendo stick. Aleister Black grabs a kendo stick, and they just start whacking each other. They just start hitting each other with kendo sticks while Priest is on the top rope. It was just like Priest kept his balance too. He didn't fall till the spot was over. I couldn't believe it. It was great show of athleticism and balance from Damian Priest. Damian Priest, he picks up Aleister Black and hits a razor's edge onto the table just like last week, but the table doesn't break. He picks him up again, throws him on it again, and then Aleister Black, he does this half roll off the table where he's like barely, like he's literally just leaning on the table, but his feet is on the ground. So that was just, this match was really good. Then we go to Zelina Vega. Damian Priest is going, they fight into the arena, and Damian Priest is going to hit a South of Heaven through tables. And Zelina comes right through the crowd and just says, "No, please, like, don't do this. Like, don't. And Priest kind of like, Zelina Vega gets down, and Priest is like, then Aleister Black hits him with a fireball. This got me so off guard. I was like, Priest is kind of like, yeah. So now I'm totally expecting Aleister Black to win, but he like lights a fireball at Damian Priest, hits him with a black mass. He goes crashing through the table, and that is the 10 count. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega standing over Damian Priest. And that is the match. That's it. Priest goes crashing through multiple tables after a black mass. And I just want to ask again, how was this not on Crown Jewel? But it was the highlight of SmackDown. I definitely had the most notes about it because it was the best match. But that is Friday night SmackDown, or in this case, Friday morning SmackDown if you're in the US. Crown Jewel predictions later today, and I'm glad that this was an early show so I can get that out. And no more matches were added to Crown Jewel, which little upsetting, but this was a fun SmackDown. I'm glad I got to review it, and you'll see my Crown Jewel predictions later today.